Hello, I'm Dennis Poland. One of my favorite parts about being president and CEO of Virtua Health is getting to know our colleagues and the many ways they are here for good. Each person contributes to healthy communities, and each person has a story to tell. Let's meet one. Kevin, thanks for joining me today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about your current role and sort of what led you to Virtua.
This August 2025 will be my 16th year, my sweet 16 here. And you're right, it's been a journey. I started off in 2009 in patient transport over at our Marlton division. Progressed, and I'm here now, lieutenant of security for both the Marlton and Berlin divisions, believe it or not. And it's been great.
What projects have you been involved with that you think have made a notable improvement to the safety of our campuses?
Well, the biggest one I can say is our Evolve system. If you're familiar, at each of our main facilities, we now have weapon screening where visitors, employees alike, they'll walk in. It's not a metal detector per se, but it's more artificial intelligence that'll tell us where you potentially have a weapon.
What's been the colleagues as well as our visitors and guests sort of reaction to it?
I think for the most part, it's been overwhelmingly positive. You'll obviously get your few stragglers that, have that level of, we don't want this. But again, the day and age that we live in, I think it's imperative that we have this kind of technology to help, act as a natural deterrent.
What about actually detecting weapons? Have you guys found weapons that you've had to?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, obviously, but I know AVP Greg Pease is great on, having all of the people that are coming in, all the detections. And now these are weapons that we had no idea were coming into our buildings, a few years ago. And now at every facility, we have a track and we make our reports accordingly. But we figured out that it's a lot going on.
And it's not a very intrusive system. I mean, it's very much, most people don't know it, but when they go to a sporting event or something, they walk through it, correct? Is it the same type of system?
Same concept. They walk in. I know the Philadelphia Eagles, I know the Philadelphia Phillies both have the Evolve system.
And we also have another system called Strongline.
Yes.
Have you been involved with that, and maybe tell our audience a little bit about what that is?
Yes, so we've implemented a new personal panic alarm system, more or less, where you now have a panic alarm based to you, fitted for you to your badge, to where now if you press it when you're in trouble, we now know who you are that's pressing it, where you are.
If I was wearing it and I pushed it, they would
Yep.
know.
They would say Dennis Pullen 303 Lippincott. I guess is the marketing, office or whatever the case is, and we would respond accordingly.
Have we rolled that out everywhere throughout the organization, or are there just certain units that currently have it installed?
Right now, it's in all of our main facilities, all of our hospitals, but more specifically, it's in our emergency departments as well as our behavioral health departments that we have, at a few of our facilities.
Are there small actions that colleagues can take themselves to ensure the safety of their work?
I think the biggest thing is communication. As long as there's communication between security and staff, I think we'll be a lot, better served for it.
A moment ago, I heard you use the reference Sweet 16. I caught that. I know that you were fortunate to play college basketball.
I was.
And talking to Greg Peace, he used the term star. So you played at Rowan University. What was that experience like?
Time of my life. I'll have to have a conversation with Greg after this. But star is strong, but I was a very solid player.
What position?
I was a shooting guard, but our offense was kind of outside. We ran 4 guards out, which means we had 1 big in the middle. So a lot of times, while I did play 2 guard, I was one of the taller guys on the team, so I would switch between the 2 and the 4. But it was, again, 4 guard set.
I think his words to me were that I couldn't defend you in my heyday, which I probably couldn't, but I would have put forth a good effort.
No, and I appreciate the effort, but I would have also had to give you buckets at the same time.
Do you have anything that you try and share with your colleagues, our colleagues, about? Clearly, safety is front and center, and it's on all of our minds for, workplace violence against healthcare workers. We tend to get people often that come to see us when they're at their worst.
Right.
And they bring a lot of that with them. What do words of encouragement or things that you want to share that you hope will prevent our colleagues from being in an unfortunate situation?
So just an overall level of awareness. I know a lot of times in my experience, um, issues kind of happen and are progressively happening, before they kind of escalate. So if we all just had that level of awareness as to what's going on, what kind of signs are we seeing here, so that we can preemptively kind of end a safety issue before it really takes off, I think is really important. And I know across the system, our security team does a good job of that de-escalation. I know we've implemented a lot of workplace violence programs now, kind of worked up our own system, and it's pretty robust now, as long as on the virtual learning system as well, as far as on the AMOC trainings and things like that. So I think it's good. I think that, just again, diving in and trying to get that level of awareness as to what we're seeing, what we're hearing, what we're noticing from those issues.
And we partnered with a lot of the local law enforcement. I know we have touchdown sort of locations. Share with our colleagues how that work and the importance of our collaboration with local law enforcement.
Yeah, so we thought it was really important to kind of, build up our relationships with all of our local law enforcements across the system. And we've identified a space in which we can make for them. That way, when they're coming in and they need to conduct interviews or they need to do some extra paperwork, rather than, them bringing in a patient or come into a situation and it sometimes be some lost time for them, that they're able to, kind of, again, do paperwork, reports, conduct interviews, or just touch down spot. We have refrigerators in there for them as well if they want to kind of get some of their snack off, or some lunch.
That always helps.
Always feeding them always helps. But yeah, I think it was very important to strengthen that bond with our local law enforcements, because we do need them.
How do you encourage people to stay vigilant and of their surroundings? And you see something, say something. How do you encourage our colleagues to be mindful that it doesn't just happen elsewhere or to somebody else? Things can happen to any of us.
I know a lot of times, when we all come into work, the focus is on the task at hand. What am I here to do? What do I need? What do I need done before, I clock out? And a lot of times within that, I call it a little bit of tunnel vision. We tend to get a little off track on seeing what's in the here and now. And if you're able to kind of take a step away from yourself, kind of notice what's going on in the environment, I think we'd all be a lot, better served for it. Because at the end of the day, like you said, see something, say something. And it's hard to see or say anything if you're not quite paying attention to the details.
You mentioned taking a step away. Have you lost a step? Can you still handle the rock, or are those days long gone?
Listen, do not let the stature fool you. I can still move. I can still put the ball in the basket.
Just a little bit, huh?
Just a little bit. It might be a little slower than I used to be, but I could still get it done.
Kevin, this has been wonderful. Thank you again for joining us on the Inside Edition of Here for Good, and sharing your valuable insights such that all of our colleagues can remain safe and we can keep all of our campuses safe as well.
Absolutely. I thank you for the opportunity, and it's certainly been a pleasure talking to you.
What a great episode. Please join in next time as we hear more interesting and exciting stories from our many valued colleagues here at Virtua.